Hello, welcome to Group C of the World Cup. Me and Liam here, the tactics writer for The Athletic, are going to tell you about how the teams in Group C all play. It's Argentina, Mexico,
Saudi Arabia.
Thank you.
Poland.
And yes, all the teams in the World Cup together as one in C. Now, we're going to start with Argentina, but before we do, hey, if you enjoy the video, just please subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. And also like the video, and when you subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're always notified when there are new videos. That's that. Now, Argentina, as you may tell, one of my favourite teams in the tournament this year. I think they have a really good balance. Key players are players like Lionel Messi, Lautaro Martinez, Angel Di Maria made it into the squad, Dybala made it into the squad even. Great goalkeeper, strong centre-backs in Otamendi and Romero. You remember Otamendi used to play for Man City for a while. But they've got strong defensive players who support an attacking team. Now they tend to play a 4-3-3, so this is what it tends to look like. They can also play a 4-2-3-1. So you take one of these players out here, maybe De Paul, and put in Messi would go as a 10 usually. Might swap around Di Maria. So then you get in someone like Julian Alvarez. And then because the fullbacks can overlap and underlap when they want to, when you get to a final phase of play, you get Messi can float in around and do whatever he wants to do, and he's at an all-time creative high. We did a video on Lionel Messi recently on Tifo IRL, which you can watch on the channel if you'd like to. I love Lionel Messi. Di Maria will be out here. Alvarez can then get into central more positions next to around here, so Messi can dictate, overlap by a fullback. And then you've got defensive players, Paredes, McAllister, Molina might sit a bit deeper, Romero, Otamendi, can try and control games. The thing with Argentina is they don't have, they sort of do have a style of play, but it's not fast, nor is it slow, there's the passing. What is it? What do they do?
As you mentioned, they can do a bit of everything. So this is comparing how many passes they have on an average attack and how quickly they like to kick the ball up the field. So being lower down here means they're a bit more organised, a bit more elaborate. They like longer passing sequences. But because they're closer to the middle or to the median, that's just kind of a reflection of the fact that they do a lot of different things, being fast and direct when they need to. And Emi Martinez in goal has got a real good distance kicking ability. He can find players quickly upfield with long passes.
Oh, hoofing it long still works to this day. So being able to take the ball long from the goalie, very useful. Another very useful thing that Argentina do is score early goals. How many early goals do they score? 9
in the Copa America in the first half, which they went on to win, and 4 of those were in the first 15 minutes. So, you know, they're taking the lead early in games, and then they can mix their style depending on how the position are going to play to control it in a variety of different ways. So
you can use all your magic with Messi, Lautaro, all these great players to do that, and then suddenly, rather than pushing up early with loads of energy, you can sit back and draw the opposition onto you. And what they'll do, they'll press with like a front 4 if they're playing this kind of shape. And it looks like a 4-4-2. So you'll get Lautaro and Messi. Messi does far less because he doesn't do as much off the ball. Lautaro, great at pressing. Then they'll help out with the 4 that pushes up. What happens with the rest of the team? What goes on here?
So with the rest of the team, the midfielders will jump forward. They're just going to sort of close up space, defend the midfield third of the pitch. But they'll be really clever at picking their moments of when to press. There's a great example against Ecuador where they let the ball go back to the goalkeeper and Di Maria was a bit deeper, but then as soon as this pass came, Di Maria was already on the move. The pass came out to the fullback, he nipped in, won the ball back, and then they counter-attacked within probably about 5 seconds, 2 or 3 passes to score. Nice and quick, very incisive.
Do you think teams will press much in this World Cup?
No, but I think Argentina are a good example of how you can be quite clever and you really time. So you sit in shape for the most part, and then you wait for the bad pass, you wait for the bad touch. They're very good at being sort of reactive, but they're not too jumpy out of their shape.
Important. Next is Mexico. Mexico play in a 4-3-3, and what they do is focus most of their play down the wings to these wide players. Chucky Lozano plays for Napoli, he's a good player. This guy Vega, not from Street Fighter, he's good though, he plays here. On the outside, they want to get them 1v1 and they want to get balls in the box for Jimenez. Go and tell me more about Mexico, please.
Well, these players would obviously come further forward as well. Edson Alvarez is another stand-up player for them. They've not got too many outstandingly good creative midfielders, but he's a really nice pivot player that can receive the ball from the centre-backs. He then is often the player who's playing these big switches over to the wide players.
So an early switch to the wide players?
Yeah,
okay.
So before teams can get back and sit too deep, they're going to hit them nice and quick. They will probably pull the fullbacks wide, but more often than not, they're going to play forward quickly and look to get into those situations.
So they like to get the ball forward very quickly from back to front, try and isolate wingers 1v1 with fullbacks. Edson Alvarez is really key, as we said. There's not too much to Mexico. They don't attack all the time, they don't defend all the time. It's very kind of balanced, they're all right. The one problem, or one of the big problems they have, is scoring goals. They don't score very many, to the point that fans in Mexico, I am told, we're talking about having Javi Hernandez come back.
Yeah, and he's not played since 2019, which is obviously a hell of a long time. Jimenez scored 3 in World Cup qualifying and all were penalties, which I think really just sort of underlines the problem and thus increases the reliance on this man to have another outstanding World Cup and stop goals like that.
This man being Guillermo Ochoa, a really good goalkeeper, a lovely goalie. Yeah, Mexico, they're all right. They're not amazing. They're kind of medium, to be honest. There's nothing I've noticed watching them that stands out. They'll be okay. They always go out in the round of 16.
Yes, so I think for the past 6-7 World Cups, they've got through the groups every time. From what I've heard from some Mexican fans, there's not a huge amount of confidence that they'll get out this year, but when they do, they've been knocked out every single time in the round of 16.
Next team is Saudi Arabia. Here they go. Now, what do I say about Saudi Arabia? They're not very good. Yeah, fair?
He's okay.
Oh yes.
Salam Al-Dasari, who I think he spent a very brief amount of time on loan at Villarreal. Like all of their team plays in their domestic Saudi league, which is probably quite a fair indicator of their quality. And we'll go through some of his vids in a second. But he's a really nice right-footed left winger, so likes to come inside, cut inside, shoot, cross. He's really their creative hub and scorer of their match-winning goal at the last World Cup as well.
I can prove that because I stole more data from one of your articles. Hang on.
It's fine because I stole this from Stats Perform as well. And I think this just looks like the sort of shot map you'd expect from a right-footed left winger. A lot of low-quality chances where he's coming in off of dribbles or playing 1-2s and often doing his damage really you see in this left-hand half space when he can get closer to goal. And also 3 pens because we like penalty goals, or I do anyway.
We certainly do. Another thing on Al-Dasari is that he is the highest rated player on FIFA 23 for Saudi Arabia.
I did not know that.
A 78 rating.
Every day's a school day.
Done my research. One more thing about Saudi Arabia, so you know how they play. They have a defined style of play, and it is very much towards the sort of tiki-taka style of the world play. Here there's a slow and intricate teams that like to have short and many passes. These are teams that like to just get the thing away and up the pitch. That's what you do up here. Lebanon and Syria, that's what they do. Saudi Arabia, they like to keep the ball, pass it around, they try and be expansive, because the thing is, to play this sort of tippy-tapping football, you've really got to have players in positions to be able to receive it. And against teams who aren't very good, they can do that. But when you're trying to open up a team, so you want to get Al-Dasari, as we know, in these positions where he shoots from, that means you need to have a forward up here to help pin the forwards back, then your inside forward. Then you probably want to create a bit of width to stretch the play at the back, because then you want to have your fullbacks up, which is what they'll maybe do sometimes against weaker teams. Then you've got number 10, this guy can either play kind of on the right hand side or behind the striker. You can do a bit of all of it, and then you've got the 2 midfielders push up like this, and then that's going to leave loads of space for other teams to really punish. And so what they do instead of doing this sort of play where they can then move it around, create triangles and play, which is what they want to do. They want to combine in quick little moments.
Attacks, yeah.
Magical moments.
Magical moments.
Instead what they do is they spend most of the game back, defending, trying to get out. I remember Saudi Arabia, maybe the last tournament were really good in the ball, fun to watch, really nice, quick, explosive, but then were just kept back and couldn't do anything. And were largely beaten quite a lot. Now that is Saudi Arabia. The last team in the group is Poland. They're nice. Here is Poland. Now, we're not exactly sure how Poland are going to line up because it looks like they played a 4-2-3-1 a lot when they've had 2 holding players, Bielik and Krowiak. Zielinski plays a 10, dropping 2 as the 8. But in recent games, they've played a back 3 system.
They have. I mean, they played this in the World Cup playoffs against Sweden, which is maybe the closest game in terms of like how you might play in a game where you need to win rather than a friendly where you might try things. But a lot of it really is dependent on, well, he's fully fit now, but he was injured. So they were dealing really with an absence of Mati Cash, who is very good at football and good also at getting up here and crossing, which Poland want.
Because they do a lot of crosses, right?
They do an awful lot of crosses.
So this is the thing. So Mati Cash and Berezzinski might be the 2 fullbacks. We're not sure if these are exactly who'll start, by the way, but we're trying to work it out. But these guys will get forward and provide lots of crosses because what you've got in here is one of the best centre forwards in the entire world, Robert Lewandowski. He'll be supported probably by Zielinski, who plays for Napoli. He's had a really good season so far. Like we say, he can do a lot with it. Then you've got 2 inside forwards. Lots of teams play this way. They get a front 5, something like this, maybe a supporting player. Maybe they'll get the ball forward and try and win the second ball. But Poland, again, are a team who aren't amazing in possession. They don't concentrate on counter-attacks. They mostly just try not to lose, which is kind of fine in tournament football.
Essential.
Yes, but if they do play the back three, it might look something like this. Bednarik will shift across, which then gives Matty Cash a higher starting position. Also means they can cover from wide areas and hope that teams who put balls into the box are dealt with three centre-backs. Another centre-back would be Kiwior, here we go. Then we reckon maybe like Bielik and Krakowiak is a 2, maybe Zielinski's a 3 here. And then what you can get is there's variations. Zielinski could play up top, either side of Lewandowski with maybe Kaminski or Szymanski or something like that.
Yeah, they've got a lot of attacking strength and depth really. They've got Piatek obviously to come off the bench as well. Adam Buksha, I believe, scored also 5 goals in qualifying. So there's a lot more of a goal spread. I think naturally we're going to lean towards saying he's a key player, and he is, but there's going to be different players they can call on to score goals if and when needed.
So Poland are all right. They're kind of fine. They are quite heavily reliant on crosses, as this little image shows. So what you'll see is Poland sitting back, inviting teams onto them, not Saudi Arabia, they'll try and beat them, and then they'll get forward, put balls into the box. But Argentina will be a real threat to them. Mexico will know about this as well and keep them wide. And again, Mexico want to get out the top to put wide crosses in. So who knows who's going to win that group? Do you know?
No.
I don't know either. But yes, so probably we don't know what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen in Group C. I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy the World Cup.
If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic brings you the best sports journalism in the world in a personalised experience, connecting you with the stories and teams that you care about the most. There's coverage of 13 sports, plus direct access to world-class journalists through live Q&As, discussions and podcasts. And you can try it now for free for 30 days by clicking the link in the description.